It's 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're looking at your credit card balance and doing that math again, the minimum payment, the interest rate, the number of months. And somewhere in the middle of that math, you stop because the number doesn't go down. It barely moves. That feeling has a name, and it has a dollar amount. Today, I'm walking you through 6 levels of debt, $5,000, all the way up to $500,000. For each level, I'm going to show you who lives there, what it actually costs, and what it feels like when the math is running your life. Not vibes from some random videos from YouTubers in rented Lamborghinis and pre-made scripts. Actual numbers. Because the difference between level 1 debt and level 4 debt isn't just a bigger balance. It's a completely different psychological experience. And most people only learn that difference by accident. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1. You owe $5,000. This is usually a credit card, sometimes a personal loan. For most people, it started as a few dinners out, a flight, an emergency that came at the wrong time. And then the minimum payment started. Here's what $5,000 at 22% APR, the national average credit card rate, actually costs you. If you pay the minimum, roughly $125 a month, you will be paying that card for 5 years and 4 months. Total cost with interest? $8,024. You borrowed $5,000. You repay over $8,000. But here's the thing that makes level 1 dangerous. It doesn't feel dangerous. Meet Kayla, 26, makes $48,000 a year, has $5,200 on a visa. She's not stressed. She should probably be a little more stressed. The trap at level 1 is that it never announces itself as a trap. It just becomes the background noise of your finances. Until it doesn't. Level 2. $25,000. This is where the story gets complicated. At $25,000, you're almost never dealing with one thing. It's a student loan and a car payment. Or credit cards that compounded faster than you realized. Or one medical bill that arrived the same month the transmission went. At $25,000, with a blended interest rate of 14%, which is conservative, the minimum payment math looks like this: $583 a month. And at minimums, you don't fully pay this off for over 7 years. Total repayment? Just over $49,000. You borrowed $25,000. The debt costs you nearly double. Here's what nobody tells you about level 2. It's the level where most people stop tracking the total balance. They just track the monthly payment, which is exactly how $25,000 becomes $49,000. Kayla's 30 now. 3 years later, she's at $24,600, student loans and a car payment. The combined payment is $541 a month. She adjusted her lifestyle to absorb it. That's what level 2 does. It doesn't feel catastrophic. It just quietly becomes your floor. Quick pause. If this is useful and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. Every week I build one of these, real math, no jargon, no shortcuts. Hit subscribe. It's free. Now level 3. Level 3, $75,000. This is the level most people don't see coming, because level 3 usually looks like success from the outside. Student loans from a 4-year degree, $37,000 average. A car note, $18,000. Credit card balance, $12,000. A home equity line used for a kitchen renovation, $8,000. None of those decisions was obviously wrong. Some of them felt smart in the moment. Combined, $75,000 in debt, demanding roughly $1,400 a month across all payments. On a $70,000 salary, that's 29% of gross income. Not take home, gross. which means before taxes, before rent, before groceries. Nearly a third of everything you earn is already spoken for before you even cash the check. Level 3 is the level where the math starts to run you. You're not making choices about money anymore. You're managing obligations. Kayla is 34. A promotion and a lease renewal later, she has $72,000 in combined debt. She doesn't call it debt anymore. She calls it her monthly commitments. That shift in language, that matters. It's how you stop fighting something and start accepting it. Level 4, $150,000. Welcome to the mortgage adjacent zone. Maybe it's a first home with a $130,000 mortgage and $20,000 in remaining student loans. That's a completely normal American story. And it is. But here's the math on a $130,000 mortgage at 7.1%, the current 30-year average. Monthly payment, $874. Total repaid over 30 years, $314,000. You borrowed $130,000. You repay $314,000. That's not a rounding error. That's $184,000 in interest. Add the student loans, and this person will spend over $250,000 to service debts that totaled $150,000. Level 4 is where the numbers stop being abstract. The interest doesn't feel like a percentage anymore. It feels like a second mortgage on your first mortgage. Kayla is 40. She bought a house. Her debt is $148,000. She's earning $84,000 a year. She feels settled. But her net worth is still technically negative. That's the quiet part of level 4. You can feel like you've arrived while still being in the red. Level 5, $300,000. This is where the conversation changes. At this level, you're almost certainly in real estate. A $280,000 mortgage at current rates runs about $1,890 a month. Stack in a car, remaining student loans, and a credit card. And total debt service hits $3,200 to $3,400 a month. On a $120,000 income, that's 34% of gross, before taxes, which means after federal taxes, state taxes, and payroll taxes, the real burden is closer to 50% of what actually hits your checking account. Level 5 debt doesn't feel oppressive if the income is there, but there is zero margin for error. One job disruption, one medical event, one major home repair, and the entire structure wobbles dangerously. Kayla is 47. A bigger house in a better school district. Combined debt, including the mortgage, is $294,000. She's earning well. She's also never more than 90 days of savings away from a real problem. Level 6, $500,000. At this level, almost everything changes. This is no longer consumer debt. This is leverage. A property worth $800,000 with a $480,000 mortgage. A business with operating loans attached to recurring revenue. Real estate generating rental income. At level 6, the debt might be making you money. Or it might be a trap wearing a suit. Here's the math that separates those two outcomes. If your $500,000 in debt is tied to an asset that produces income or appreciates faster than your interest rate, that's a tool. If it's tied to a depreciating asset or a lifestyle purchase, that's a sentence. The difference is not the level. The difference is whether the debt is working for you or whether you're working for the debt. Kayla is 53. She has a rental property, a primary home, and $487,000 in combined debt. For the first time in her adult life, her net worth is positive. The assets are worth more than the liabilities. She can owe $500,000 and be building wealth. That number is the same. The story is completely different. Here's what none of these 6 levels tell you on their own. The level you're at right now is not permanent. It's a position, and every position has a pivot point, a specific decision, a specific month, a specific reallocation, where the math starts moving in your direction instead of against you. For Kayla at level 2, the pivot was picking one debt and throwing everything at it until it was gone, not minimums across everything. One target. For Kayla at level 4, the pivot was stopping the lifestyle creep the moment income went up. For Kayla at level 6, the pivot was making sure every dollar of debt had a dollar of productive work attached to it. The question isn't how much you owe. The question is whether you know what your pivot point is. Because the people who get out, they don't get lucky. They get specific. I hope this gave you a clearer picture of where you actually stand and where the road out begins. If you want to understand your savings level, your income level, your net worth level, I'm building that whole series. Links are in the description. Subscribe so you're there when the next one drops. I'll see you then.